All right, let's dive into something that's been a total game changer for developers. Serverless. We're talking about a world where you can build these amazing, powerful apps without ever having to think about the servers running them. Sounds pretty cool, right? Let's break it down. So, let's just kick things off with a big what if. What if you could spend all your time, 100% of your energy, just on the code? You know, the stuff that makes your app unique and special. And what if you never, ever had to worry about patching an OS or managing servers again? Well, that right there, that's the core promise of serverless.
Okay, so what is this thing really? At its heart, serverless is an architecture, a model, where you, the developer, basically hand over all the keys to the server room to a cloud provider, like AWS. You get to focus purely on writing your code, your functions, your business logic, and they handle all the messy stuff in the background.
Okay, first things first, we got to get something straight. The name serverless is, well, it's a little misleading, because of course there are still servers. There are always servers. The absolute key here, the magic trick, is that they're completely abstracted away from you. You don't see them, you don't touch them, and most importantly, you don't have to manage them. I love this analogy. It makes it super clear. Think about it this way. Traditional servers, that's like owning a car. You've got to buy it, you've got to do the maintenance, pay for the insurance, stress about finding parking. It's just this constant overhead, right? Now, serverless, that's like using a rideshare app. You just open your phone, request a ride, you get to your destination, and you only pay for that one specific trip. It's pure on-demand utility. So that's the big idea. But how does it all actually work under the hood? Well, the whole philosophy of serverless is really built on 4 core pillars. These are the principles that make it all possible. Let's walk through them.
Pillar number 1, and this is probably the biggest one, no server management. Zero. Zilch. Think about all those tedious tasks, updating the OS, applying security patches, configuring VMs. All that stuff is just gone. It's completely handled by the cloud provider. And man, that frees up an unbelievable amount of your time and, just as important, your mental energy.
Okay, number 2 is continuous scaling. And this is where serverless starts to feel like magic. Your application can go from 0 users to millions, and it scales automatically, instantly. You don't have to frantically add more servers because you're having a big launch day. The system just handles it. It scales up and down, request by request. Next up, pillar 3, and this one hits the wallet in the best way possible. It's the pay-for-value model. You are only, and I mean only, billed for the compute time you actually use, right down to the millisecond. So if your code runs for 100 milliseconds, that's what you pay for. And the craziest part, if nobody is using your app, your bill is 0. That idea of 0 cost for idle time, that's a total game changer. And the last pillar, number 4, is built-in high availability. What does that mean? It means these services are designed from the ground up to not fail. They automatically run in multiple different physical data centers. So if one data center has a problem, your app just keeps on chugging along totally fine. And you didn't have to do a single thing to set that up. Okay, so we've got the 4 pillars, the techie stuff. That's all cool. But why are businesses getting so hyped about this? Why does your boss care? Let's talk about how all this tech translates into actual business value.
The biggest one, right off the bat, is a massive boost in developer productivity. I mean, we're talking about giving developers back 30 to 40% more of their time. Time they can spend on what actually matters, building features, solving customer problems, instead of wrestling with infrastructure.
And this quote right here just nails the financial side of it. It gives you this incredible agility. You can spin up a new idea, a new product, an MVP, and just put it out there. And if nobody uses it, if it's a flop, your bill is basically 0. Think about that. It just completely lowers the risk of trying new things and innovating. And it doesn't stop there. You can run absolutely massive systems with way smaller teams, which saves money. And it fits perfectly with this idea of microservices. Building your app out of small, independent parts. That just makes everything so much easier to update and manage in the long run.
All right, so theory is one thing, but where is this stuff actually being used out in the wild? Let's look at some real-world examples that you might even recognize.
This table lays out some of the classics. For web and mobile backends, just picture a huge Black Friday sale. Serverless, with something like AWS Lambda, just instantly scales to handle that massive spike in traffic. No problem. Or how about data processing? Every time you upload a photo to cloud storage, a little bit of serverless code can automatically kick off and resize it into a thumbnail. It's perfect for stuff like that. And it's great for analyzing real-time data, like social media feeds, or running a simple daily report without having to pay for a server that just sits there doing nothing 23 hours a day.
Okay, now, we've been talking up all the good stuff, and it is amazing. But it's really important to have a balanced view here. Serverless offers incredible power, for sure, but it's not the perfect tool for every single job. There are some real trade-offs you got to know about.
Yeah, you'll hear people say this all the time. Serverless is not a silver bullet. And they're right. Understanding where it falls short is actually the key to using it really, really well. So let's get into the limitations.
All right, the one you'll hear about the most is something called a cold start. Here's the deal. If your code hasn't been used in a little while, it goes to sleep. When a new request comes in, there's a tiny delay. We're talking a couple hundred milliseconds, while the system wakes it up and gets it ready. Now, for most apps, you'd never even notice. But if you're building something that needs an absolutely instant response, that little delay can be a deal breaker.
And there are a few other things to keep in mind. First, your code can't run forever. On AWS, for example, a function times out after 15 minutes, so no super long running tasks. Then there's vendor lock-in. It can be easy to get your code really tied to one specific cloud provider's way of doing things. And finally, debugging can be a bit weird. You can't just SSH into a server and look around. You have to get good at using cloud logs and tools, which is a different skill.
So at the end of the day, it's all about picking the right tool for the right job. And this little chart really sums it up. If you need something that scales automatically, you only want to pay for what you use, and you hate maintenance, and your tasks are pretty short, serverless is a home run. But if you need total control and have tasks that run for hours or days, yeah, a good old-fashioned traditional server might still be your best bet.
And that really brings us to the big question, right? Looking ahead, is serverless going to become the new default, the main way we build most things? Or will it always be just one more powerful tool in the toolbox for specific kinds of jobs? Honestly, it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out. Thanks for sticking with me on this one.